to engage with knowledge. So are you ready, without any pre-assumptions, what rasas actually are? And then later, when the session is finished, you can always say, oh, I already knew that. This chap in Switzerland was exaggerating. He seems to be proud. He thinks he knows everything and no one else knows. And you can always say that afterwards, right? No problem. So now, what is rasa? Rasyate anena iti rasa. That which is relished. That whereby we taste something. That is rasa. It comes from the dhatu rasa asvadana snehanayo, which has two meanings. To taste, and now Ruchitaji will be very happy, to love. It means also to love. So the word rasa by itself, in fact, also means love, sneha. Not only taste, not only flavor. So when the Upanishad says famously that the definition of Brahman, the absolute, is raso vaisaha. This is a very famous quote. This does not necessarily mean flavor or taste. It can actually mean that Brahman is love. Brahman is sneha. Have you ever thought about that? This is what Abhinavagupta tells us, that the Brahmasvada, the experience of ultimate reality in samadhi, is identical to rasasvada, to the experience of rasa in daily life, when we are jivan mukta, when we are liberated. So this is what I want to convey to you today, that if Ruchitaji becomes a sadhika, a practitioner of meditation, she can in fact experience her daily life as the form of bliss, of the divine. And this is not some strange theory. This is not some mysticism. This is not some esoteric New Age people saying this. This is none other than the great Abhinavaguptacharya, the Sarvajna of Kashmir, the all-knowing one who lived many, many hundreds of years ago in the Kashmir Valley. It is him who is saying it. He says, you can in fact experience life as a manifestation of divine joy. So now, my beloved friends, what are these rasas we are talking about? They come about through a combination of three things. Vibhava, Anubhava, and Vyabhichari Bhava. Vibhavanubhava Vyabhichari Samyogat Rasa Nishpatti. Rasas come about when Vibhavas, Anubhavas, and Vyabhichari Bhavas come together. So what are Vibhavas? Vibhavas are any condition that brings about an emotional state in your body or in your mind. This can be literally anything. So, for instance, when Dr. Kala Acharya ji's son who I believe is a doctor in the UK, when he comes back to his mother and when he tells her, Mataji, I would like to prepare some gulab jamun together with you. Now, I don't know if Dr. Kala Acharya ji is also a cook. Who knows? Perhaps she is also as great a cook as she is a Sanskrit scholar. If she is not, then, well, my story doesn't work. But if she knows how to prepare gulab jamun or rasmalai, and her son asks her this, and they jointly prepare rasmalai or gulab jamun, or some laddu, besam ka laddu, no problem, it is easier. Then this activity, my beloved friends, is called vibhava. It really is so. The activity of them doing something together, which creates an emotion in Dr. Kala Acharya ji, it is called Vatsalya Bhava, the emotion of love towards her child. This emotion is, of course, always there, but it comes to the forefront when they engage in the vibhava of making rasmalai together. Really, it is so. If you do not believe me, let us have a call after this session, and I will prove it to you from the Bharatanatyam Shastra and Abhinavagupta's commentary on it. It really is so. This is called vibhava. Another type of vibhava is, for instance, when chandana, sandalwood paste, is spread onto your murti and you enter your shrine, and then you smell that chandana, which actually is not for you, Ruchitaji. You are not supposed to be smelling the chandana. This is supposed to be for the Lord. But most ordinary human beings, they nonetheless smell it anyway, isn't it? Similarly, my wife, Tripura Sundari, she does Shri Vidya Navavarana Puja of our Shri Yantra. We have a Shri Chakra, Meru Chakra, and she does the puja of this. And she does the Archana with rose oil, dripping rose oil onto the Shri Chakra. And this generates such a tremendous smell, Sugandhi, that every time I enter our shrine area, I am right now in our shrine area, then my mind is filled with the Sugandhi, fragrance of rose oil. Ittar, gulab ka ittar. And instantly my mind generates an inner emotion. You understand? Therefore, the outer condition, the rose oil or the activity of cooking together, or the activity of Ruchitaji and her beloved husband going to Juhu Beach and going for a walk in the evening, perhaps with some rasmalai cooked by Dr. Kala Acharya ji. And then they sit on Juhu Beach and the sun is setting, and finally her beloved husband turns off his phone because all the calls have been coming, and Ruchitaji has been telling him with some irritation, "Chhod do yaar, please turn off your phone. I can't hear it anymore." And then the sun sets, and then they have the rasmalai cooked by Dr. Kala Acharya ji and her son. And that activity of watching the sunset and enjoying the rasmalai, this is called vibhava. You understand? This activity gives rise to an inner emotion. And this inner emotion, my beloved friends, is not called rasa. It is called sthayi bhava, an enduring state. The outer vibhava generates an inner sthayi bhava, an enduring emotional state. And in the case of Ruchitaji, whose husband then might say, wow, this rasmalai is excellent. Who made this? This is then called utsaha or vismaya. Ruchitaji might smile and she might say, you won't believe this. Arya, I don't know what she calls her husband. You know, something like Aryaputra. I don't know if they speak Sanskrit together, but she might say, Aryaputra, you will not believe this. It was made by Dr. Kala Acharyaji. This is called Vismaya, some sort of inner smiling, or Adbhuta, some sort of inner awe, inspiring. He might say, ha ha, amazing. Ayibho, right? He might say, I am fascinated. I didn't know that she can also cook. I thought she's only a Sanskrit scholar. You see? So this emotional state that comes about in them is called sthayi bhava. And this remains for a while. Now, we can also call this an underlying state. The outer vibhava, the sunset, together with the rasmalai, the outer condition gives rise to an inner emotional state which endures for a while and therefore is called sthayi bhava. And this inner condition, however, now comes together with temporary outer conditions. And these are called vyabhichari bhavas. Now, I know, my dearly beloved friends, some of you might be hearing this for the first time, and you might be saying, what is this Taklu from Switzerland talking about? What is he talking about? So please bear with me. I am trying to convey something extremely subtle. It is susukshma in the scriptures. You have the outer condition called the vibhava. This gives rise to an inner sthayi bhava, an enduring emotion. But now this enduring emotion comes together with temporary emotions and states. What are these? Now please visualize Ruchitaji, her beloved. They are sitting in the sunset in Juhu. They are having the rasmalai. In Ruchitaji, some Shringara Bhava is already there because she is so grateful that her husband finally turned off his phone just for her. So there is some Shringara feeling is there in Ruchitaji. Some sense of love and romance. But in her husband, the Shringara Bhava has not come yet. He is still in the Adbhuta Bhava. He's still in the emotion of fascination. Why? Because he still can't believe that Dr. Kala Acharyaji can actually cook. You see? So they're sitting there and they're in this emotion. And now suddenly, a vyabhichari bhava comes, a temporary state. And I'll give you an example. A temporary state of shrama. weariness, fatigue. Now, Ruchitaji has spent the better part of her day at home. She studied some Sanskrit texts. She called up some of her girlfriends. She did something with the children. Whereas her husband has worked the whole day. He has had a tough day. So he is in a state of shrama. Shrama means weariness. Like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But this is only a temporary state which comes, because the actual emotion that he has is that they are in the sunset. And Ruchitaji, for one little moment, Ruchitaji enters this vyabhichari bhava of chapalata, which is nervousness due to aversion, due to some kind of dvesha, some kind of aversion. Ruchitaji thinks, oh my God, now he's tired. I wanted to enjoy this evening just with him. I didn't want him to be tired. But then, this temporary emotion of nervousness that comes up in Ruchitaji is instantly replaced by some little emotion of karuna, where she thinks, oh, bichara, he has worked the whole day. I can't be so tough on him. This poor chap, he's worked the whole day. And after all, I've had a good day and he hasn't, right? So do you see what I'm trying to describe here? The enduring emotion is that of the sunset, whereas the temporary emotions, they're now coming in sequences. They're staying only perhaps 10 seconds. And now there might even be some emotion of outsukya in Ruchitaji. Outsukya means uneasiness. Why? Impatience. Why? Because she was impatiently waiting for her beloved husband. He didn't come to Juhu Beach on time. Vilambo jataha. He was late. And Ruchitaji was already waiting for half an hour. And the ras malai was getting warm because of the humidity. And Ruchitaji was texting him on WhatsApp that, Aryaputra, when are you coming? Are you delayed? And then Aryaputra replied, no, Priye, I am on time. And then she writes back to him, Aryaputra, you are late. And he says, really? I thought we said we will meet at 7 o'clock. And then Ruchitaji becomes what? She becomes chapala again. She becomes nervous again and says, no. You see? And then for one little moment, tiny little moment, the emotion of shanka arises in Ruchitaji. Shanka is suspicion due to a lover, due to one's beloved. Now, this emotion of shanka is very subtle. For one little instant, Ruchitaji will think, why is he late? But then already she can see the taxi coming up, or perhaps they have a beautiful driver, I don't know. But already she can see the taxi on Juhu Beach, and there Aryaputra is already arriving. So that emotion of shanka is instantly gone. You see? Do you understand how the vyabhichari bhavas work? And now they are sitting, now we are back in the story, and they are sitting in the sunset. And this emotion of shrama has come up. And then in Ruchitaji, the emotion of karuna comes for a moment. This, oh, bichara. And then she asks him that, are you tired, Aryaputra? Would you like to go somewhere else? And then Aryaputra says, what? No. We agreed that this is our evening. Every 2 weeks, we will do something alone together. And for one moment in Aryaputra's heart, an emotion of ugrata arises. This is called the Vyabhichari bhava of ugrata, because he feels offended by her question, are you tired? You see, this is how human emotions work. Ruchitaji says something, and then there is some emotion in him. And then Ruchitaji, for one moment, again has a feeling of chapalata. She is again nervous. No, Pyare Jaan. No, it is not like that. I just wanted to ask if you're tired. And he says, no, I'm not tired. And then the emotion of amarsha arises in him. This is called indignation due to insult. So he feels, how can you say that? I am never tired. I'm always full of energy. I always practice yoga in the morning. I always do Gayatri mantra, and I visualize the sun, and then I do pranayama. I am never tired. And then Ruchitaji says, okay, of course, I'm so sorry, of course. And inside her heart, Ruchitaji now has the Vyabhichari bhava of avahita, which is called hiding your real feelings. For one moment, Ruchitaji has to hide her real feelings because she thinks, oh my goodness, what is he talking about? He's always tired. He's always in shrama, you see? But she has to hide her real feelings for one moment because she doesn't want him to again be offended. After all, Ruchitaji wants to enjoy the evening, you see? So now, they have eaten the rasmalai, and it was just excellent. It was simply excellent. And now you will not believe. Ruchitaji tells him that Aryaputra, I have another surprise for you. Dr. Kala Acharya ji also prepared some gulab jamun. And he says, Kya baat? Really? Can we try it? And then Ruchitaji says, yes, but we should also watch our weight a little bit. And he says, no, come on. Once every 2 weeks, let us enjoy. And then Ruchitaji brings out the tiffin. And in the tiffin, there are 3 gulab jamun, also prepared by Dr. Kala Acharya ji. And she takes them out. And then he tastes it. And then he is simply in a state of harsha, the Vyabhichari bhava of harsha, the joy, the delight. He just can't believe that this kind of taste is still possible in the 21st century. He feels transported into ancient times. You see? And then Ruchitaji also tastes. And she says, oh my goodness, it is unbelievable what Dr. Kala Acharya ji made together with her son. I can feel the love in the gulab jamun. I can feel the vatsalya, the emotion of love for her child in the gulab jamun. It is right there in the gulab jamun. And then Aryaputra says, I want another gulab jamun. And then Ruchitaji says, well, there is a third one after all. I took 3 because I thought you will want one more. So then Aryaputra also eats that. But because now his stomach is a little heavy, now the Vyabhichara bhava of nidra comes up in him, sleepiness, a temporary state of sleepiness. But this is not a sleepiness which is kind of a negative sleepiness. It is not shrama. It is just sort of, he's just feeling content. He's just feeling fine. And he says, let me just sit here a little bit and I'll close my eyes. And Ruchitaji, she leans onto him a little bit and they both close their eyes and the sun has now set. And Ruchitaji is a sadhika, she is a spiritual practitioner and she's starting to dream a little bit. And in front of her inner eye, suddenly she sees Lord Venkateshwara of Tirupati Balaji. He is adorned with garlands of flowers and there is a smell of sugandhi coming from him. And he is adorned with beautiful diamonds and rubies and sapphires and emeralds. And then he says to her in Sanskrit, Ehi, Ehi, which means come to me. And at that moment, Ruchitaji wakes up from this moment of drowsiness. And this is called vibodha, the vyabhichara state of suddenly waking up from a dreamy state. And in her heart, there is now the vyabhichari bhava of adbhuta. Oh my goodness, I had a darshan of Lord Venkateshwara of Tirupati Balaji. And he asked me to come to him. And that moment, she wakes up Aryaputra, and Aryaputra wakes up, and Aryaputra tells her, wow, you won't believe what I just saw. I saw Padmavati Devi of Tirupati Balaji, and she told me in Sanskrit, Ehi. And Ruchitaji says, what? What? I saw Venkateshwara and he told me Ehi. And then both of them fold their hands in a deep, deep state of adbhuta, adbhutam, adbhutam. Amazing. And they say, we now take the sankalpa of visiting Tirupati Balaji soon, very soon. And we will take darshan there, no matter what it takes. So now, my beloved friends, I have described the vibhavas, which is the sunset, the rasmalai and gulab jamun prepared by Dr. Kala Acharya-ji, Ruchitaji and Aryaputra sitting together on Juhu beach. This is the vibhava. I have described the vyabhichari bhavas, the temporary emotional states that arose in them. And I have also described the sthayi bhava. The sthayi bhava of Ruchitaji was shringara, was this sense of romance. The initial sthayi bhava in Aryaputra was actually shrama. He was tired from work, which is fine. I mean, Ruchitaji, you have to have some understanding for him, right? He's working the whole day, bichara, right? So that was the shrama. The sthayi bhava was tiredness. But now, from all these conditions, there is also the anubhava. The anubhava is when, for instance, he said, wow, his expression, his facial expression when he tasted the gulab jamun and the rasmalai, this facial expression in Aryaputra is called anubhava. And the facial expression in Ruchitaji, when she asked him, are you tired? I'm not a good actor, but she must have said something like this. Aryaputra, are you tired? This facial expression is called anubhava. So the expressions on your body that express your emotions are called anubhava. And all these things together have given rise to rasa. Now, my beloved friends, which rasas did they give rise to? This is a riddle now. This is called a prahelika. Which riddles do you know and which rasas came about through this situation. I have not told you actually. Only one rasa, or perhaps two rasas, or perhaps three rasas. Please think about it a little bit. Please have some contemplation. And soon I will finish and tell you. But before that, I want to tell you what Abhinavagupta says about the rasas and what Vamanadatta, another Kashmiri author, says. Vamanadatta says, in every emotional state, you can experience the divinity of consciousness. Focus your mind on that which is manohara. Yat yan manoharam kinchit shruti gocharam agatam ekagram bhavayet tavat yaval linam nirodhakat. Whatever emotional state is beautiful and divine and sweet, focus your mind on it, concentrate on that state. So for example, the romantic feeling that Ruchita ji has on Juhu Beach, she can take this feeling, which is a manohara feeling, it is a beautiful feeling, and she can actually concentrate on it. She can practice ekagrata on it. She can just take that feeling and she can concentrate on it. And she can even do this when she's at home. She can sit down for meditation. She can remember the feeling that she had on Juhu Beach. She can bring it up in her heart, and then she can meditate on it. And Vamanadatta says, when you do this, then your body is filled with that feeling again. And then when your body is filled with that feeling, from your heart, he says, the rasa, like a juice, like a nectar, the rasa begins to spread in your whole being. And then you suddenly experience like a state of samadhi, or which he calls upachara samadhi, like a sort of approach, threshold samadhi, not a full samadhi, but you experience a state of bliss by taking a human emotion which you experienced on Juhu Beach and isolating it in your mind and then concentrating on it. Have you ever heard this before? It is quite remarkable, isn't it? Vamanadatta states this in a beautiful text called Svabododhaya Manjari, the flower bouquet of the rising of self-realization or understanding oneself. It is an amazing text. So I'll repeat this method once more. You take an emotion, a positive emotion, manohara emotion, something that appealed to the mind, no matter how long ago it was. You take the entire emotion and you make it the content of your meditation. You close your eyes. And you can also create the outer conditions. You can put some rose ittar. You can do some beautiful puja with chandana on your murti of Vishnu. And then you can sit in meditation. And you can bring that memory of that emotion. You can bring that up. And then you just concentrate on it. If your mind wanders away, you just bring your mind back to that emotion. That Sringara emotion which Ruchitaji experienced on Juhu Beach. You just bring the mind back to that. And you concentrate and you concentrate until your heart, like Vamanadatta says, until your heart begins to recreate the rasa, which then spreads in your whole being. And then you are suddenly suffused, immersed in the blissful experience once more. Please remember this method. It is an amazing method. It is an amazing method. And then Vamanadatta says, don't be attached to the joy. Experience the joy, but don't be attached to the joy. And Gaudapadacharya, the guru of Shankaracharya, says, Nasvadayet sukham tatra. Don't be attached. Don't relish the joy there. Because when you do that, then the supreme joy of absolute consciousness, Paramatma, will begin to manifest in you. When you experience the joy, but you are not attached to the joy, then the supreme Paramatma will begin to manifest in your mind. Yes? So now, my beloved friends, we are almost finished. What were the rasas that Ruchitaji and Aryaputra experienced on Juhu Beach? The actual rasas were, yes, Shringara, romance, Adbhuta, astonishment, and Shantarasa, the experience of serenity, the experience of when they saw in the dream Lord Balaji and Padmavati. That moment they had afterwards was Adbhuta. Yes, it was Adbhuta Rasa. But after that, it was Shantarasa. It was just that peace, that contentment, that feeling of absolute blessedness. And these three rasas came about through the vibhavas, the outer conditions, combined with the temporary emotions, combined with the anubhavas, the facial expressions, the body language, etc. And then all that together, the masala of all that together gave rise to the rasas. That is called rasa, my beloved friends. That is called rasa. So now, I hope that you have all experienced the rasa of Shanta. Let us have some questions and answers. And then Ruchitaji, you have to tell us when to stop. I am finished on my side. Ityom Sham, you can please ask questions.
Hello. We can have some questions now. You may either put the questions on chat or you can ask them directly, after which Dr. Kala Acharya ma'am will speak a few words. Looks like your speech has made everyone in a state of yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So
Yes.
nobody wants to.
It can be a good sign, Ruchitaji. It can be a good sign and it can be a bad sign. It depends on which rasa, right? So, people used to say that in the presence of Ramana Maharshi, they used to come with all these questions, but when they were in his presence, they had no question. The questions they just fell away from them. So in that case, it was a good sign. But in this case, we don't know. Perhaps my presentation.
May I ask one question, sir?
Please.
Yeah. It was simply amazing, and I want to convey my gratefulness first. And the question is very simple. You may ridicule it, but is it a case that Shrungara is transformed to Shantarasa through your spiritual understanding, and that's why Every time, every rasa ultimately merges into Shanta as Abhinavgupta finds it. So is it correct, sir? Please.
Absolutely. This is exactly what happens. This is exactly what Vamanadatta says. That when you take the Sringara rasa or Adbhuta rasa, when you take the rasa and you meditate on it, ultimately it becomes Shanta. Wonderful, man. Excellent.
No, my name is Ashish Mukherjee. I want to ask you, Namo Nama. I want to ask you, is feeling of Manohara is necessary for meditation?
Yes. Well, you see, without attachment, this is very important. The feeling of Manohara is necessary because, sir, if you meditate on Bibhatsa rasa, which is the rasa of fear or disgust, right, in this case, Jugupsa, if you meditate on that, well, of course, Abhinavagupta says even that takes you to Shanta if you do it properly. He says that, But as a normal human being, sir, if you meditate on how much your neighbor disgusts you, will it really take you to Shanta? I'm not sure. So that is why it is better to take something Manohara, isn't it? It is better to take a Sringara or Adbhuta and to work based on that. Does that make sense?
No, no, feeling has to be Manohara, that I am not denying it about that. Feeling has to be Manohara. But can it be blind? That's what I am not meaning negative, but can it be a blind thoughts or nothing for meditation?
I understand. But this method I have talked about is related to rasas, how to integrate the rasas in your actual life. What you are asking is general meditation.
Maybe,
General meditation, sir, is done simply by witnessing all your bhavas, all your states. So you don't have to take a Manohara state for that.
Okay.
You can just witness all the states and then you come to Shanta.
Yeah, okay. That makes clear. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other question?
Can we try this? Last question.
Please. My guru always said that in Sri Vidya tradition, which we are in, my guru always said that one should really try at least 12 minutes per day. One should try to do it. 12 minutes is one part of a muhurta, right? 48 minutes. So it is 1/6, right? I'm not good at mathematics, but it is a part of a muhurta. So therefore, it is good to practice and to try it for 12 minutes, not less than 12 minutes, because you see, the mind first has to get into the rasa.
May I request you, sir, to repeat the title of Vamanadatta's text?
Yes, it is called Svabodhodaya Manjari. Svabodha Udaya Manjari.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And of course, I also talked about Abhinavagupta. So Abhinava Bharati is the commentary of Abhinavagupta on the Bharatanatyam Shastra, where he brings all this to expression. And of course, there are many other works by Abhinavagupta. He was a universal genius.
Yeah.
And it is thanks to him that we have this knowledge about how to integrate rasas into daily life, into meditation, into a joyful life. Because when you do this, when you understand that you can integrate your emotions into life and they become Shanta automatically, once you understand this, then even Raudra, which is like anger, even that, you can just observe it and then it becomes Shanta, you see? You do not have to remain attached to it. Similarly, When you are not attached to Sringara Rasa, then you don't have all your Bollywood drama, all your youth, going into all these trouble, because then they just observe the Sringara Rasa and it becomes bliss. You understand? Any other questions? Someone asks, does Sringara Rasa and Adbhuta Rasa essentially lead to Shanta Rasa always? If you do it correctly, yes. When you are not attached, this is the message, very important message. When you give rise to the rasa through meditation or through the experience, but when you are not attached to it, very important, no holding on, no, I want this Sringara Rasa forever. When you don't do this, when the Adbhuta Rasa is, when you don't do this, oh, I constantly want to be in Adbhuta Rasa, when you don't do this, when you just meditate on it, then it always turns to Shanta, always.
And since there are no more questions, can I request Dr. Kala Acharya ma'am to please speak a few words? Ma'am? Actually, ma'am was having a little problem with the battery of her phone, so I think it might just take her a while. So we just hold on till then, or if there's a question, we can take.
So if I don't want to do advertisement for our own meditation classes, but we hold a monthly session on how to do this. And it is done by Sarvamangala Foundation in the UK. So if you're interested in that, you're welcome. It is always free. There is no fees, because I studied Sanskrit for free. My gurus always taught me for free. So it is always free. There is no charge ever, because Vidyadhanam Sarvadhana Pradhanam. So if you are interested in joining meditation, monthly meditation sessions to learn this, how to integrate that into your life, you're welcome to join us.
Where can we get the more information, sir?
So I'll give you their website. These are my meditation students in the UK, and they are organizing it. It is called sarvamangala.org.uk. But now everything is online, you see? So that means there is no longer the UK. Now it is global. So now it is sarvamangala.org.global, right? I'm just joking. So please don't be put off by the UK. There is no UK anymore, right? No, COVID will stay forever. I'm joking. I don't think I will be traveling anymore to UK. So now everything is online. So I have posted the link here, sarvamangala.org.uk, and there you find the monthly session, which we are doing. I believe the next one is only end of this month. So on the 30th of August, I believe, but you can check on the website.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
So I believe Dr. Kala Acharya ji, her phone is off.
No, she's just coming. Just a moment.
Oh,
she's
okay.
just coming on.
Fine.
Atharva, please unmute ma'am's phone.
Okay, wait.
नाही ma'am, तुम्ही अजून you're not. I apologize for this, but she's just coming. A little bit of a technical snag.
Can I ask one last question? Was I right that your prior knowledge about rasas was not what I had presented here? Anyone?
No, we had just general meaning of rasa, but rasa for an emotional feeling and to create something out of rasa, we have heard it now, heard the first time.
Okay, that's
I
good.
mean, rasa for a purpose, yeah, rasa for a purpose or for enhancing your day-to-day life and how we can enhance our day-to-day life through the rasa, feelings of rasa. And that's probably a take away from this lecture.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Hello, Ruchita.
Yes,
You
you're
can hear
audible.
me?
Yes, you're audible, ma'am. You can
So,
speak.
shall I conclude now?
Yes, please.
Acharya Vidya Bhaskar ji, I want to just to say that your speech, your marvelous speech was a journey from mundane to spiritual world. As you have quoted profusely from the Taittiriya Upanishad about uh, rasam ihevayam labdha anandi bhavati, etc. So, I just want to bring to notice to our those who are attending this, that audience members, that in our in the same Upanishad, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, also it has been the difference between what is moda, what is pramoda, and what is rasa. That is clearly mentioned, and we normally take moda or pramoda as ananda or bliss, but it has been said that moda is that which that particular type of joy which we attain after attaining whatever is dear to us, the thing which is dear to us. And pramoda is that which we the joy, pramoda is that joy which we attain after getting that dear thing and then enjoying it. When we enjoy that dear thing and then only what joy we get, it is called pramoda. So there is difference between moda, pramoda, and bliss of Atman, and we generally confuse with that. But your speech made quite clear what is ananda, what is a mundane joy, what is sthai bhava, and what is rasa, what is manohara, and what do we get by that experiencing that feeling. All these things was a beautiful journey. Thank you very much for coming here and giving us this treat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vidya Bhaskar ji. Before we conclude for the day, let me just announce what we have for tomorrow. The speaker for tomorrow is Dr. Lalita Namjoshi ji, and she'll be presenting on the concept of prana in the Upanishads. So I'm sure all of us will be interested in knowing more about this concept, and I'm sure you will be present here. For all those of us and your friends who need to join, you can circulate the link that is there for registration, and we will send them the link. So please be present here. We are beginning at 11 a.m. So 10:50 is the time that all of us can log in. Again, the session will be Facebook Live as well as live on YouTube. And with this, let me once again thank first and foremost our speaker for today, Acharya Vidya Bhaskar ji, for his very eloquent and descriptive and presentation on rasa. The dignitaries present here, I am happy to say that the Vice Chancellor of Somnath University, Shri Gopabandhuji, was also present here but on account of a meeting, he had to leave early. We also are grateful to Dr. Kanchan Mande, one of the speakers, Dr. Shriram Agashe, who has spoken to us earlier but will be delivering another session in the coming week. Dr. Kala Acharya ma'am, the executive president, the president of SSASP, Shri Dilip Karambarkarji. Apart from that, the other dignitaries who are present here and those in the audience. I am extremely grateful for your presence and we look forward to having you again tomorrow. So thank you very much. Punashekavaram. Namo Namaha. Dhanyavadaha.
धन्यवाद.
Atharva, thank you for taking care of the technical side, and I'm also grateful to our media partners, Saptahik Vivek, Hindi Vivek, Tarun Bharat, as well as News Bharati.